How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Loot Wizard. We're going to be doing another build guide in today's video, and I'm going to be showcasing the latest build I've been working on, which is a Zenith build, which of course is a ultimate skill, but we're going to be using it so much it's going to be feeling more like a core skill, and it's really fun to play. It's got very satisfying gameplay, and it's quite powerful. It's definitely not a meta build or an S tier build. This is definitely not a build I'd recommend you do on your first character. But where this build really shines is for that second build, something to pursue after you've already made a really powerful build and you just want something fresh and exciting to do. So that's where I think this build really shines. So, as always, the full build guide is going to be linked in the description, so check that out for all the details that you're going to need. But in the video, I'm going to help you just go through the skill tree, the Paragon, the gear, just really quickly so we can get a sense of how the build works. So the main sort of PowerPoint of this build is how much we're going to be able to use Zenith. Again, we're going to be using it a lot. It's going to be our main damage source, even though it's an ultimate skill. So you can imagine we have to focus on making sure we're able to cast this skill as much as possible. So how that's done is mainly through a combination of Flicker Step, the unique boots, as well as the innate modification to the Zenith skill here, right here, Empyrean Edge. So this allows us to reduce the cooldown of Zenith when we kill enemies using Zenith. Alright, so that with the Flicker Step together is going to be quite a powerful combination, allowing us to use the ultimate skill very often. So just quickly go through the points. You're going to take one into Advance. You're going to skip the core skills. We're not going to be using any core skills. Instead, just grab On Guard as well as Riposte here. 3 and 3. Moving into your aura skills, we're going to grab Fanaticism, we're going to grab the Defiance, put 4 points into Defiance here, as well as grabbing the Enhance and the Rite of Might. For the Fanaticism aura, we're going to do Enhanced, and then Vengeance, okay? Remember, 4 points into this one, because the biggest pain point of this build is definitely staying alive, and that's also just considering the new toughness mechanics they've implemented into the game with the latest updates. Survivability is definitely more involved than it ever has been, we'll put it like that. Coming down to the Valor skills, we have Rally, and Rally is going to be quite an important skill for us, and that's because we're going to be running the Arcadia unique pants, and this is going to change how Rally works so that it fortifies us, and we're going to be gaining a lot of charges of Rally just through all the sources of healing that we have in this build. So we're going to be popping the Rally skill quite often. You're going to take the Enhanced Rally and then come down into the Words of Inspiration. Also grab 3 and 3 in here, as well as 1, 3, and 3 here. As we come down to the Justice skills, we're going to be grabbing Consecration with the enhancement and the Hallowed Ground. Grab 3, 3, and 3 here, as well as 1 and 3 here. Okay? Now we get to Zenith. Max this out, obviously, 5, and then go Enhance, and we got to get that Empyrean Edge. This is going to allow us to use it a lot more often, and you're going to want to put 3, 3, and 3 into these passives. And our key passive, we're actually going to go for Coat of Arms, just for that nice 71 multiplicative damage bonus. You can go for this, but I find that this is just going to lead to more damage directly here. For your Oath, obviously you're going to want to be using Zealot. This is a Zealot-based build, using primarily Zealot skills. We're going to need a lot of Fervor as well. It's going to keep our Fortify up. It's going to keep our critical strikes rolling, and that's how that works in the skill tree. Moving on to the gear. Now, this is an endgame build, and like I said, this is a build you should probably pursue as a secondary build after you already have a powerful build, and that is due to the fact that this build doesn't necessarily require mythics, but it definitely performs at a nice level with at least one mythic here. As you can see, I have the Heir of Perdition. Ideally, what we're actually going to be going for is also the Shroud of Death mythic unique for the chest here. I don't have that yet, but if you can get both the Heir of Perdition and the Shroud of Death, that is going to be the best combination of mythic uniques for this build. So that's what you're going to want to grab for the chest and helmet. Moving down to the gloves, we're going to be using the Revelators aspect. Alright, that's just going to increase our Zealot damage based on our Fervor. I've already mentioned our boots and our pants. We're going to be running Arcadia with the Flicker Step. Okay? And these are quite easy to get. Flicker Step might be a problem You can always just go onto Mobilytics down below and check out the bossing guides for the loot tables and everything for a nice, easy guide on how to get specific uniques. For our weapon, we're going to be going with a two-handed sword. All right, we're opting for no shield in this build, and that's primarily because, well, it's a cool two-handed sword, and it works quite well with Zenith skill, I think. If you really, really wanted to push survivability, you'd probably be better off taking a shield. But how I have it all sort of worked up here is going to work without using a shield and instead focusing on the damage from the two-handed sword. All right, we're going to want to put the I don't even know how to say that, apogeic furor onto the sword here. All right, that's going to be increasing our ultimate skill damage. I'm going to get into the runes and the tempers more specifically later on. Let's just go through the different aspects. You're going to want Zealot's Covenant on the amulet. You're going to want Vehement Brawler on this. And don't listen to the name of this one. It's not the Umbral. That was just from the sanctification I got. I believe this is called something along the lines of Jacques' Fervor or something like that. But you can take a look and see there that the aspect you want is the one that says each stack of Fervor grants you 19.3 bonus critical strike damage. All right, so that's the one you're going to want to go for there. Just a quick overview of the Paragon. So I'm only level 176, but you're going to find a full Paragon in the build guide down below. We're going to be taking Spirit, Chip, as well as, what did I put here? Fervorous. And then over here, we're going to be coming into some other glyphs that I don't have leveled yet. This is, only a level 176 character. Still have some work to do. But again, check the build guide in the description for that full Paragon. But obviously the most important part is going to be blasting through the starter board to grab the castle Paragon node as soon as possible. I mean, look at that, 430 times multiplicative damage. So that would be the number one tip I have for the Paragon. The special note there is that when you're just starting to build the Paragon, forget about everything else and just focus on this straight line to get you to the castle. That's going to give you such a huge power boost and just make farming the rest of the XP and farming the rest of the Paragon so much quicker. And then you can focus on building it out, as I am doing here. But that's pretty much it. Some things to note are the runes. There's some very, very important runes to use. We're going to be using these two runes, the Cast Evade, as well as the Consume All Your Resource for a damage buff. And then over here on the weapon, we're going to end up putting Xan, as well as the other Xan with an X, X-A-N. I do not have that rune yet. It's in the build guide, obviously. It's quite a rare drop, but if you can get those two runes and therefore have all four runes set up properly, you're going to be seeing a very nice damage increase from those rune combinations. But that's about it that I need to cover just in this video. Again, just check the description. You're going to get the full build guide to have everything you need to start building this yourself. And with that, I'm just going to throw in a footage of a quick little pit run so you can see how the gameplay of this build works. And I hope you enjoy the build. I certainly find it very, very fun. And sound off in the comments with what build you've been enjoying the most. I think for me personally, this is probably my favorite build for the Paladin. I really enjoy some of the other builds with the Arbiter and everything, but this one is just really, really fun to play. It has a very, very satisfying feel. So let me know what you guys think. And with that, enjoy the rest of the footage.
for the taking.